going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Mega Shrine, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's going on, Coach Dan at Lions Talk Live and the Duke Crew? This is Ball Hawk Fatima Lafonum of the Detroit Lions. Everybody make sure you help support the YouTube channel Lions Talk Live by clicking that like and subscribe button. Let's get it and go Detroit.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live and Coach Dan by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for joining us here today. Hey, Lions Talk Live, morning show edition. And you know what? Wednesday show edition, we got some information yesterday. You guys probably saw it. I was just too tired to get over to you yesterday. But what we did get is the Detroit Lions added a couple defensive players to their defensive line, a little bit beef in the middle, if you would. And I like the signings. After looking into both guys a little bit more, I think they were both Brad Holmes type moves, I guess it would be fair to say. But I think at the end of the day, Lions' depth on the defensive line got a little bit better, take some stress off to having to address just the defensive tackle position during the draft, although I still think they will. And I do think we're going to have a little bit more possibilities and flexibility going forward with free agency in the draft. Also, as you can tell from the main thumbnail for today's video, you know, Micah Parsons put out a video himself yesterday. We're going to talk about it here during the main topic of the day. Could it be something? Probably is going to be nothing, but I do think it does suggest that Micah Parsons, who most Lions fans would agree over the last couple of years, he's taken more than a few shots at the Detroit Lions. Who would want to play there? Well, apparently Micah Parsons might have changed his mind. Maybe he does want to play there. All right, before we get into the 5 headlines now, the main topic of the day, everything in between, the Duke Crew comment section. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so, making that push for 13,400 subs. And, you know, we're roughly 68 subs away from it. So if you can help out with that, that surely would be wonderful of you. Also, if you have a half second of time, it doesn't cost a dang dime. Reach on down, hit that thumbs up button, hit that like button, hit the button for the button for the button. Get through all those and then, you know, help the channel out and grow, and I will be thankful for that. Last but never least, you already see it in the scroller, but let me make it a little bit larger for you. If you are considering buying or selling property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, let alone the continental United States, go ahead and give me a call or shoot me a text. You see the number on my screen, 269-998-2384. Give me a call, shoot me a text. I've been in the industry since somewhere in the early 90s. So if you want somebody who's got a lot of experience, you want somebody who's going to, you know, reduce your costs, save you money, and make sure that you get well taken care of both by your lender, your title company, everybody in between, not overcharged. I'll do just that for you because I enjoy doing all that. All right, with all that said, done, out of the way, let's get the show rocking and rolling and going and get into the first segment, which, as you guys know, is 5 Headlines Now. You know, I do feel like I'm getting my energy back. I mean, last week, for those who don't know, playoffs here for my team, man, both those games were such grinds. I mean, all of them, fourth quarter rallies, especially Fridays. Man, that just took all the energy out of me over the weekend. Saturday, I just crashed. I didn't have much left. And I could tell yesterday, first day that the season's been over, man, once I got done talking to you guys in the show and actually doing some work, I think right around 3:00 in the afternoon, I had to just kind of sit and take a nap, man. Anyways, let's get to the 5 headlines now because I do feel like my energy is coming back. All right, Lions vets give seal of approval on team's big free agent acquisition. Fan side story by Devin Planta with this one. And hey, we all have some questions, thoughts, or whatever about the DJ Reed coming on over to the Lions. The more that I've looked into him, you know, try to watch film, you know, do coaching stuff, and then the more you're hearing about the Lions players talk about him, it does seem like a pretty dang good fit. I get the dude is not 6 foot tall. I get he is, you know, he doesn't have that. That's just never going to be a part of him. But watch him in coverage. Watch his hips. See how quickly, A, he can flex into and out of a route with a receiver, and B, here's what I really love about him, his ability to locate the ball. This cat's got some real abilities, and I like watching him. He might be, DJ Reader, the Menace, whatever you want to call him. But Allen Robinson, and a couple of the other guys in the secondary, defensive side of the ball, both took to social media to talk about him. And it seems like universally, they all really like this guy. Let's remember, he's been in the league for, I want to say, 7 or 8 years now. So he's not the youngest guy. He is, 20, whatever, 7 or 8 now. But within hours, you saw a lot of the Lions players take to social media to talk about him. And I would concur with a lot of their assessments. I had an opportunity to watch probably about a half hour of different, film study on him last night for the first time since the signing. And I like him. I don't know where they're going to play him. I don't know if they're going to play him inside or outside, but I do think if they're going to hold to the same schemes that what they've had in the past, and I have no idea what Kevin Shepard's going to make his own adjustments. I think Dan Campbell's come out and said he does prefer man-to-man coverage over zone coverage. Thinks that's just more difficult in today's quarterbacks just because they see so much zone, the accuracy. We can get into that more in depth in another time. But Reed, who is 28, seventh NFL season, 101 regular season appearances under his belt. The former Kansas State product has become one of the league's most disruptive cornerbacks in recent years. And I would agree with that statement because especially watch him in run defense. This guy throws his body around and throws it into people with reckless abandon. That's real clear on tape. The other part of it is he doesn't really get that beat up or injured. As much as he throws his body around, he does stay fairly productive and on the field. I like the guy. It sounds like the team likes the guy. And from a personality standpoint, listening to him speak, watching some of his mannerisms, I think he's going to become a fan favorite because of the way he plays and his style of play. He's going to be a real nice piece for us, and I don't think it's just going to be this season. I think he'll be around for a couple seasons with the Detroit Lions. All right, silver lining, Aaron Glenn's departure for Lions, clutch points, story by Mike Grankos. I probably killed that one, but hey, either way, we get it officially. The NFL announced where the Lions will get the compensation pick for Aaron Glenn's departure. They will get it this year, and yes, the Lions are going to receive another one. We'll get into that one in the next portion of the 5 headlines. Now, Lions may have had a plan last year when we made some trades. Everybody was like, man, we're kind of giving up some of our middle round picks to move up and acquire guys. I do wonder, based on where we got these 2 picks, and right now we're getting a late 3rd rounder for Aaron Glenn. I do wonder if that was part of Brad Holmes' thinking when making those trades. We know we're going to get these picks back in essence, so why not go ahead and do it, move up and get the guy we prefer. I like the move if that's what went down, but it'll be 102nd overall for Aaron Glenn. Detroit, will receive that late 3rd rounder. I like the idea that we maybe traded last year's 3rd rounder, knowing that we're going to get it back with Aaron Glenn's departure. Kudos to Aaron Glenn for getting the job he wanted. Kudos for the Lions for getting some sort of compensation for that selection. So Aaron Glenn moving on over. All right, Lions signed former Cardinals defensive tackle Roy Lopez. This is one in the headline for the main topic of the day. We'll talk about this a little bit more, but hey, the Lions did acquire some defensive line help. You saw it in the thumbnail. Probably some of you guys saw this stuff on social media yesterday. With Lopez, here's what I'd say. For what I'm anticipating his role is going to be, kind of filling in for a Lee McNeil, or at least potentially. Him and Adams were both signed yesterday. Lions got him pretty cheap, under $5 million for a player. Yes, it is a 1-year contract, but think about the salaries you're seeing across the NFL. Lions are being, what would you expect from Brad Holmes, financially responsible. In 4 seasons, Lopez has 137 combined tackles, 17 tackles for a loss, 3 sacks. He had 1 sack, 3 pass defenses, and 4 tackles for a loss last season. He is now a nose tackle and has earned basically we'll just round up here and say 55 run defensive grade via Pro Football Focus for his performances. I'm not mad with this signing. I think it's a nice signing. You're going to have a depth piece. Could him or Adams start while Lee McNeil's potentially recovering? Yes. Could it be that there is somebody added to the defensive line via the draft? That's also a possibility. I think this doesn't preclude that the Lions can't do something in the draft. I think it's just a sound defensive piece. It's my anticipation. I know everybody who's a Lions fan wants the big name signings, the big deal signings. Hey, who doesn't want it? Hey, as a YouTube content creator or a sports reporter, I want it because it's fun to write about. But if we think about this, what they just added here plus Davenport, I'm guessing most of these guys are going to be rotational pieces, not starters. Maybe I'm proven wrong with that, but if this is our depth with Davenport, Lopez, Adams, you know what? I'm not mad about it. Now in the draft, if you can find that diamond in the rough who's going to start at edge or defensive tackle, this defensive line starts looking pretty dang massive and with a lot of depth. More on him probably in the future, but if you guys have had an opportunity to look at Roy Lopez's film study or whatever you want to say, I think you're going to see somebody, if you have time today, that you're going to enjoy the fact that they are a Detroit Lion. All right, Detroit Lions awarded one compensatory pick for 2025. SB Nation story by Jeremy Risman. We just talked about, Aaron Glenn, him getting signed, gave the Lions a third-round pick. Well, now the Lions are going to have a fourth-round pick, too. Number 28 in the round, 130 overall. And yes, this means that for the most part, let's just walk through this April's draft. Lions going to have a first-round pick, second-round pick, third-round pick, fourth-round pick, sixth-round pick, and then 2 seventh-round picks. So basically, you got the same amount of picks that you were going to have if you just kept all your picks and didn't trade anything last year. I really like the moving around and maybe the thinking forward that the Lions did, knowing some of this was going to go down. Lions did not get a compensatory pick based on the 2024 free agency window. That's because the amount of free agents they lost, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Jonah Jackson, Josh Reynolds, was basically the same approximate value for the guys that they brought in with Davenport, Reeder, Amik Robertson, Kevin Zeitler. Still no word on Kevin Zeitler that I'm aware of, at least at the time I went on air this morning. I'm still hoping the Lions can bring him back. But, hey, good news for the Detroit Lions on draft day. You're going to have all your draft picks back in essence. All right, last the 5 glorious headlines now. Lions officially awarded 2025 draft pick for Aaron Glenn. Oop, I messed that one up and kind of got that one twice. So we're just going to take that one off the board. Sorry about that, guys. I thought I had another one up here. Maybe I just messed it up. We'll just take that one off and say, hey, for those who don't know, so I didn't go into it more with the Roy Lopez signing, Lions did bring back Miles Adams. The Detroit Lions re-signed Adams to a 1-year deal after they signed him late in the year from the Seattle Seahawks practice squad. Most of you guys remember he did fill in for the Lions in that late stretch during the playoffs. Did a pretty phenomenal job, I thought. He was set to become a restricted free agent with a new league year opening at 4 p.m. Wednesday. By reaching the agreement on the new contract, Lions have avoided not having to tender the restricted free agent. So with all that being said, are you guys mad about them bringing in Adams or in Lopez, or are you pretty happy? Also, real quick, I know a lot of you guys sent me this over yesterday. You probably all are aware by now, but Ife Melifonwu signed with the Miami Dolphins. Good for him. I didn't really think the Lions were going to be in play to keep him, although I don't think any of us would have been mad if we kept him. But he did get a 1-year, $4 million deal. I'm guessing the Lions wanted to go cheaper than that, which sent him to Miami. And then you guys also know that we talked about it yesterday. Dan Skipper returned to the Detroit Lions. All right, with all that done, said out of the way, let's go ahead and get over to the main topic of the day. All right, main topic of the day. If I'm not going to put the video up because I get tired of what works for YouTube isn't very consistent. But you can go ahead and find it. There is a video out there of basically Micah Parsons, basically sitting there combing a lion, and there's something at the end of it. Hey, you gotta love lions, right? With a question mark. This got everybody kind of a buzz late yesterday when it happened and went down. At the end of the day, is it a big thing? I don't know. I just think, one, it shows that Micah Parsons perhaps doesn't dislike the idea of playing for the Detroit Lions, potentially as he once did. And I know there's other people on, whatever it is, TikTok, whatever. I don't really go on TikTok, but there's other people that have reposted it, titled it and everything. Micah Parsons hanging out with the Lions. Micah Parsons, I'm just reading through here, so forgive me if I don't get all the different comments and all the different reposts of the video. Parsons wants to get out of Dallas. Parsons likes the Lions. I mean, you get it. Could the Lions make this move? I have no idea, man. It doesn't seem like a real big Brad Holmes move, but we have speculated the Lions have been saving some money with several of these different deals. You look at DJ's Reed's deal. He saved about $12 million there. 2 guys that we signed yesterday. Neither one of them were very heavy cost for the teams. You look at Davenport's deal, man, that thing really is cheap. The more you study it, the more you're like, they just saved a whole lot of money. So could you be freeing up some money for Micah Parsons? Because if we're going to address this topic, let's be honest. if you do pull the trigger for this guy, yes, the pass rush is probably fixed. Yes, he is young. He's like 24, 25 years old. He's probably going to get 2 contracts with you, so he's going to be around for a while. There's a lot of things I would like about it versus the Myles Garrett trade. Myles Garrett, while I love the player, I just didn't love the idea of giving up 2 to 3 first-round picks or high draft picks to acquire a 30-year-old player. In my opinion, doesn't have to be your opinion, and the NFL is not like most other leagues. You start hitting 29 or 30, the production value in return on most players really drops and drops quickly. My big fear with Garrett was always going to be you get to 31, 32, so a year or 2 from now, is he still the same player, especially if an injury happens? Oy vey. With Parsons, I think just because the nature of his position, he's probably going to hold up a little bit better. He's also a little bit younger, about 5 years younger. If we gave up first 2 round picks for him, I would be a whole lot less upset than if we gave it up for Garrett. And not that I think he's quite the same player that Myles Garrett is. Myles Garrett is a first-time Hall of Fame inductee. Is Micah Parsons going to be that guy? He's trending that way, but, he's not there yet. But he is 5 years younger, and if you got him and put him on the edge opposite Hutchinson, I got to imagine that is one of the most formidable front fours in the NFL, because we all probably get it. Anybody watching this, Micah Parsons got some wheels. We always talk about, mobile quarterbacks hurting NFL teams. Well, someone like Micah Parsons out there is going to make that mobile quarterback look a whole lot less mobile. Anybody who's watched the show for a bit of time also knows I was a massive fan of James Houston for the same reason. He can track down mobile quarterbacks in a hurry. And as a coach, one thing I've always said, you can't teach speed, you can't teach size, you can't teach personality. And some people equate that to motor, desire, or whatever you want to say. You got the right personality, you know what? That person innately is going to do certain things. You got the right athleticism, God-given abilities. I can't teach it. You can't teach it. There's only so much you can do to manipulate it. What you can say with Micah Parsons, he checks a whole lot of boxes. Yes, he has not always been a fan of Detroit, but you know what? If he's willing to come here and you're willing to give up the draft capital, are you upset with it? Let me know in the comment section, because I would be interested to see what you guys have to say. For me, unlike the Myles Garrett trade, this is a yes. I would give up 2 first-round picks for him, because this year's pick, I'm just going to say this. He's probably going to outlive most of those picks. At some point, not every pick makes the team or retains with the team. The average, amount of years a first-round pick plays is 4 to 5 years. So if we can assume that you're giving up 2 guys for 1, you get 5 years out of out of Micah Parsons. I'm taking that as a wash. We're good to go moving forward. But what say you do, crew? You're going to have to pay him if you trade for him, because he is going to get a new contract, and it's not going to be a cheap one. So you'd be investing a whole lot of money into Aiden Hutchinson and Micah Parsons. You've already invested quite a bit into Aleem McNeil, and I have no idea who will be the other guy on the defensive line in the future. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But let me know your thoughts. This is probably wishful thinking. Micah Parsons maybe is just doing this to increase his salary that he's going to get, sort of like we saw with Myles Garrett. And I want to say there was somebody else that kind of did that, said, hey, I'd go play for Detroit, and they end up just restructuring the contract. I don't remember who it is offhand, but I think we all get it. It could just simply be a ploy by Micah Parsons and his representation to try to get that new contract, a bigger contract from the Dallas Cowboys. All right, you heard me ramble on about it. What do you say? Do you make this move? Does Micah Parsons want to come to the Detroit Lions? Is this video just here to help him get a bigger deal? All things can be true. There's no right, there's no wrong. Right now, it is just speculation. But if you haven't seen the video on the 20 different social media sites, and let's be honest, man, there's probably like 3,000 sites it's on. You can find it. I'm looking at one right now, Total Pro Sports. NFL fans are convinced Micah Parsons is getting traded to the Detroit Lions after Cowboy star posts curious video online. Let's be honest, there's a gajillion other headlines out there you can find it on. All right, let's get over to you guys. Do crew, see what you guys have to say. Let me know. Are you trading for Micah Parsons if you're Brad Holmes? Parsons, yes, or Parsons, no, however you want to phrase it in there, go ahead and do it. But this, unlike some of the other trades we've talked about, the ideas, I wouldn't have done it for Max Crosby, or I didn't want to do it for Max Crosby. I didn't want to do it for Myles Garrett. Me, myself, and I, you guys can still say, hey, I would have done it before they re-sign their deals. But I do like him. I do like his age. I like his flexibility. I like what it allows. If you want to play so much man coverage, the faster you get to that quarterback, the less those corners have to cover. All right, Mr. Fulton, good morning, Dan. Today is my 26th birthday. Happy birthday to you. And just for your birthday, let's get this started off with a enjoy yourself, my friend. Five Figures Freddy, I seen that video. Yes, please, Adam, exclamation point. Our defense would be ungodly. It would be, man. You think about this. You would probably, I mean, it's all speculative, argumentative, your opinion, my opinion. I'm just going to say, if you've got Aiden and Parsons, that's the best defensive end combo in the NFL. Now you pair that with the best safety combo in the NFL, a very good linebacking core now. Defensive tackle, at some point when Lee McNeil's back, him and DJ Reader plus whoever else, you maybe get there into the draft. Man, that's not too bad, especially if you get that Oregon kid. I'm trying to remember his name offhand, Harmon or something like that. I would really not be sad if we added him in the draft along with Micah Parsons and whoever else. Cornerbacks, I don't think they're the greatest tandem in the NFL, but they're pretty good. All right, Mike the Marine Gunny. Howdy, Dan and Duke Crew. Love Lions Talk Live. Woo! And you know what, Gunny? We love having you here, my friend. I think we all do. Jess, greetings, salutations, Duke Crew. Happy birthday, Mr. Fulton. Yeah, enjoy yourself 100%, my friend. Have a great birthday. Woodscar, good morning, Duke Crew. Exclamation point. The real deal's revealed today. Let's find out. You know, you are right. There could be something that really goes down today. It's been my anticipation. I know a number of you guys have mentioned it on the show before. Once you get through the first 3 or so days of the NFL free agency, 2 or 3 days, I think that's when Brad Holmes may be more active. I like the signings he made yesterday. Some of you may not. They're kind of not big headlines, but I do like them as far as maybe setting up one big move. Trey, what's going on? All question mark. I did see we added some beef up front yesterday. Anyone have a link to the Parsons video? Maybe somebody can throw it on over there for you. I know I mentioned a couple different sites you can see it on. Troy, we did address the defensive tackle spot yesterday, and in typical Holmes fashion, why would Parsons now want out of Dallas? Who knows without talking to him or doing an interview? I'll put it this way. If Parsons feels like he can get the same money here in Detroit that he did in Dallas, but he believes Detroit, you can still win, where maybe Dallas, that's a little less clear, maybe that's why. Maybe that's simply it. Marcus, good morning. Dan and Duke Crew, exclamation point. I can't see how the Lions would acquire Micah Parsons. We have better odds of winning the lotto. Yeah, I agree with you, Marcus. I think it's a long shot at best. But just like I said with Myles Garrett, I thought that was a long shot at best. And, that obviously they're not moving on from him. It could just be a ploy by Parsons to increase his value with Jerry. All right, Henry Moore, good morning. Coach Dan and Duke Crew, what a team. What a podcast. What a time. Be a Lions fan. Woo! And thank you as always for that, Henry. Silver Server, good morning, Coach and everyone. Same to you, Clark. Hey, Coach, exclamation point. What's the name of that stock trading channel you run? Question mark. Can anyone watch it? Yeah, anyone can watch it. Come on over. Basically, all it is a bunch of us who have traded together for eons. We sit there, we talk about it during the day. I run it until about 11 a.m., sometimes 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're just curious, want to come over and watch it, it's winners and losers, stocks in the housing market. You don't see anybody's faces. You see them typing, texting, and talking. So ask questions if you want to come over, learn. Just remember, we're not financial analysts. We're just, people talking and, trade whatever you want to do, but maybe you'll learn something. All right. The 302 kid. Let's see. Good morning, all. I am awake this morning. Just too disappointed. We could have had Joey Bosa on a one-year team-friendly contract. Brad Holmes could have done better. Now I am concerned about Zeitler not coming back. I hope Zeitler comes back. It could be the kid that we have a plan to get somebody. It's just obviously not somebody that we've gotten yet. So I get everybody's getting antsy. We want something now. We want an edge, a defensive pass rusher, and we want that person now. Robert, greetings, salutations, Dano, and the Duke Crew. Back at you. France. I just found and watched the video after seeing today's title. I don't know. Feels like Micah has changed his mind about Detroit. Could be that too. Yeah, maybe he doesn't want Dallas anymore. Maybe he wants Detroit. Silver Server. Parsons to Detroit? Question mark. Not even if I see it, but like you always say, Coach, I've been wrong before. Yeah, I really doubt Brad Holmes is going to make that move. It just doesn't seem like he's ever going to give up multiple high first-round picks. If he could get away with it for one and a lower pick, then maybe, but I don't see that happening. I don't see Dallas getting that little for him. Man Bear, good morning, Dan Aru and Scooby-Doo crew. Back at you. Don Burr, Micah sitting close to a line doesn't mean he's coming to Detroit. Exclamation points. We are reaching for any and everything now. Yeah, it could be just that, man. It could be something, could be nothing. I know we beat it to death talking about it, but you're probably right, Don Burr. It probably doesn't mean anything, but, it is out there. How about that? Silver Server, I like the re-signing of the hybrid defense tackle, defensive end, Miles something, ex-Seahawk, Miles Adams. Yeah, yep, good rotational player. I liked him a lot. The other guy, I watched some video on him. I think if nothing else, that's less of a need or weakness now in the offseason. You've got some real beef and ability in there. Stephanie, good morning, boys. Exclamation point. I doubt Brad makes the trade, but I do agree Micah Parsons posted that just to try and stir things up. Yeah, 100%. He knows what he's doing. Let's be honest. If you got representation in an agency and now you're Micah Parsons and you're sitting there doing, whatever with a Lion, you're doing that intentionally. It's not just, hey, I'm hanging out with a Lion. It's free agency. It's before the draft. That is a planned and scripted move. I think we could probably all agree on that. Marcus, Coach Dan, what are your thoughts on C.J. Gardner-Johnson bouncing from 3 teams in 3 years? I think that tells me the teams, while they see his ability, there's some reason why they don't want to retain him from time to time to time. I like Gardner-Johnson. I like a lot about him. He's probably somebody, if he was on my team, we'd probably get along to a certain extent. But I can also understand some of the aspects of Gardner-Johnson that, teams just don't want to retain him very long. Is what it is, though. I wish him well. How about that? Wish him well. Surfer. Roy Lopez takes Pico's spot. It could be. I do wonder with Pico if maybe that injury hasn't fully healed or there's a question about it. Maybe we still bring him back, but that does seem like we'd be too deep at defensive tackle at that point. The kid, what he got? I am disappointed this morning. I am concerned not only about the edge, but about Zeitler coming back as well. I'm thinking positively that Kevin Zeitler will be retained. 70. Don Burr, I had to Google to find the video, and there are about 20 articles suggesting it. It's all talk until it happens. 100%. Until it happens, nothing's going down. Silver Server, they get tired of listening to him, I think. It could be that. Yeah, about Gardner-Johnson, could be. Don Burr's laughing. Gotta have a good laugh in the morning. Marcus, Micah Parsons is trying to get paid, and we're not paying him. No, it doesn't seem like a Brad Holmes move. I think we all get at this point. One of the reasons why players love coming here or being drafted here is they know if they put in the work, they put in all the effort, they are going to be rewarded by this team, unlike any other team in the NFL. This team is so family-centric. They are going to take care of their own guys 100% of the time. Now, the free agents, what do you always see? For the most part, 95% of them are one-year deals, prove-it deals. You come here, you pan out, we'll take care of you. Manberg, Lopez is 4-string. Could be. Lions Blood, top of the morning. Dan of the Duke Crew. Question for everyone. Why are a lot of people giving Brad a pass on consistently missing out on talent? Question mark. He'd rather have gritty Boy Scouts than talented players. It's just his mantra. It's him, and I'm going to guess MCDC is a part of the conversations. It's how they want to build things. Now, here's what we can say. While most of us would say, hey, take a reach here, take a reach there, they have not done that. But also at the same time, they've been here 4 years. Every year has been a better and better year. So it's hard to refute what they've done on the field, even though some of us would say, hey, maybe we should roll the dice a little bit on this guy or that guy. Burns, Dan, can you do me a sound and call my boss about giving me the day off, please? Go Lions, Trust, and Brad. Hey, I'll see what I can do. Shoot me that number, and I'll call him up. I'll be, I guess I could offer a doctor's note. Quentin, greetings, salutations. You were right, Don Burr. Could have got that story on the new paint in the bathrooms at Ford Field. So, hey, we could have went with that story, too. At the end of the day, that's one of the tougher parts about running a daily YouTube show is they got to have something to talk about. I could talk about the paint drying in the bathrooms at Ford Field or something less, I guess, provocative or whatever. But at the end of the time, part of the show is, A, to be informative. The other part is to be entertaining. So I saw the story, saw the video. It's like, let's kick the tires on that one. All right, Silver Surfer, happy birthday, Mr. Fulton. You are a fish, a lion fish. All right, there you go. Just say, Kate, I think there is 0.0 chance Dallas and Detroit do this trade. Parsons just wants to use this possible trade as leverage for a new deal, just like Crosby. Yeah, 100%. I think you're spot on with that, okay? 100%. Sosimo, what do you got? Happy birthday, Fulton. I'm just glad we did something across the defense line. I do like the two signings yesterday. Again, are either one of them going to be, breakout performers? Probably not, but, you have good depth there. Lions blood. I know for a fact Brad isn't trading for Micah Parsons. That's a joke, but let's see what other fourth stringers he can pull out of his cheap sleeve. It's getting ridiculous. We need talent, not yes men. Okay, yeah, and I get it. Talent wins, man. Any level, any level of any sport. If you don't have talent, the X's and O's don't mean jack. All right, Silver, Lions blood. They are planners and they want a team, not just mercenaries. They want players that know each other and fight for each other. They have been good in draft, but I want more, better. Yeah, I think that's pretty spot on. But in Brad, we trust, right? You're gonna have to, man, because you know what? That's all you can do. Voltron Force. We beefed up the inside. It has to be all draft for edges. That does seem like the Brad Holmes way. We're gonna trust in the draft and our scouts to nail it down. Silver Coach, I am just terrified. The idea Bears will draft Ashton Gentry, they would be nearly unstoppable. It might be. You're going to have to trust in this D to get some stops. So, comes back, Zach. Just so action. Is Brad Holmes back to scouting the hospital wards? There's probably, as always, a lot of truth that he's following some ambulances right now, I'm guessing. Pat Linesblood, going to have to trust him. Holmes isn't listening to us, it seems. It is true. He doesn't seem to be watching Lions Talk Live. David Bing, good morning. Duke Crew. Coach, how are you doing after the season ended? Congrats on a great year. It's been a great year. Missed the kids already, man. I mean, that's part of coaching, especially in the winter. I mean, that's a 6-month season. That's half the year you're spending with that team. When it ends, it does, at least for me. I can't speak for other people, but you do feel fairly drained. I was yesterday. Today, I'm feeling a little bit better. Silver, many saying skip the Bears, skip Benedict. Not so sure they will not be a major pain in the rear. You can see the planning mind of Ben Johnson at work, straight offensive line and other basics, now just Gentry. Yeah, they're planning some things. I think he understands some of their weaknesses. He wants to have a prolific offense. You got to fix the offensive line, and they're trying to do that. Daniel, good morning, Dan and crew. Back at you. Hopefully it's a phenomenal start today. Lions want to understand Silver, and he's hit in the draft, but he has missed also. Yeah, 100%. With the project players in the draft that will never play for striking out consistently in free agency. I'm trying to think of any free agents he's really hit on. I mean, Gardner Johnson, I think this time here, he was okay. Obviously, he was injured. Kevin Zeitler was a free agent. Big, massive hit there. No questions asked there. Some of the other ones, not so much, right? Aaron, good morning, Coach and Duke Crew. What up, Doe? I would add Parsons, drafted defensive tackle, and sign Levi back. I do hope we get Levi back. But with yesterday's signings, maybe that's a little less likely. John, good morning to Dan and the world-famous Duke Crew. Woo! And back at you, John. Marcus, Parsons isn't happening. I would agree. We have a better shot at getting in a time machine and signing 1990s Lawrence Taylor. Hey, would we have to sign him to a contract, though? Because if we bring him back to now, that contract's probably expired. Pierce, there can't be any way this happens, can there? Man, I never rule anything out because let's be fair. Nobody ever saw, Luka Doncic being traded to the Lakers. Nobody saw in the NFL the Herschel Walker trade. And let's be honest, if a month or two before Matt Stafford's trade goes down, do you see that happening? I'm going to guess probably not. So is there a chance? Always. Is it a big chance? I don't think so, personally, but been wrong before. Vincent E., good morning. Coach Dan and the Duke Crew, back at you. Henry Moore, I feel that in such a short time, the Lions, the sludge of the bottom of the barrel, have blossomed into a Super Bowl contender. I trust the process. There is that other part. We all can take our shots at Brad Holmes, say what we want. Hey, man, he's not doing this. He's not doing that. But also think about how far he and MCDC have turned this team around, this franchise around. So they've done that. They've got us here. Maybe we just need to give them a little slack. Keith, good morning and greetings, salutations, Dan and Duke Crew, exclamation point, go Lions. Good to see you, my friend. Courtney, good. Let's see, Duke Crew, Brad was cooking last night. Everybody said defensive end. He got super max from Arizona, defensive tackle, Roy Lopez. I do like Lopez. I do like Adams, too. I think they were both nice value signings. Well, funky, but Parsons has said No one wants to go to Detroit. He has said that, and that's why I'm like, man, is he trying to change his tune on that? Marcus, deal denied? Might be. Marcus, stop playing Madden. Hey, man. It is what it is, man. Mantrack, what's up, man? The question mark, does Parson even fit the bill for us at this point? I guess that's a fair question. Where would you put him? Would he be a prototypical defensive end for the Detroit Lions? I don't think he's got the girth for it, but you know what? Here's what I'd say as a coach. You find a way to put talent on the field. You figure it out. That's why you get paid. Coach Rock, good morning. All just saying Parsons would be a game changer if it happened. It would be. I would agree with you there. I like everything about him. I get maybe he's got a little bit more edge personality-wise than some of the other guys. I also think the guy plays his butt off when he's out there. He has had a few injuries, but you know what? It's football, especially at the NFL level. Everybody, especially if you're playing hard, you're going to get hurt. Kurt Steele, what up, Dill? What's up, man of Steel? Hopefully you're having a phenomenal start to your morning. Anymore, if you were the coach, would you listen to a bunch of armchair coaches? Would you, honestly? Here's what I'd say. And I've learned this throughout coaching all the time. There was I got to work for a few Hall of Fame coaches in different sports. And as an assistant coach at the college level and stuff like that, there's a couple of them I learned a lot from. Part of my job as assistant coach is to give you, the head coach, information and thoughts. But at the end of the day, you're El Presidente. You make of those thoughts as you want. And at the end of the day, as a coach, here's what I've also done. And I know sometimes it upsets, assistant coaches or players. I can listen to you guys, and maybe I agree with it, but I might not. I might not think that's the best situation at that point in time. What I would do as a coach isn't what you would do. Isn't what you would do. Isn't what you would do. You get the idea. At the end of the day, you've got to make those choices because otherwise you become Matt Millen. Matt Millen, I'll say this to the day I go to my grave. He knew football. If he would have listened to himself, I think he probably would have been a pretty successful GM for the Detroit Lions. I enjoyed interviewing him. I enjoyed having off the record comments with him or chats with him. And it was clear he knew football, but what did he do every draft? He listened to somebody else. Hey, I think we should hire this guy. Hey, we should draft that guy. We should sign this guy to the free agency. Even though he innately didn't, he didn't trust himself as a general manager for the first several years. He figured these other people must know more than me. And because of it, he destroyed the Detroit Lions. All right, William, greetings, salutations, Dan and Duke Crew, back at you. Pierce, anymore, if Marcus Davenport was the best option on the roster, I would. All right, there you go. It could be a lot of truth to that, Pierce. John Parsons to Lions. This is happening, not a Brad Holmes move. I would agree with that, but one never knows. There's always a chance, right? So you're saying there's a chance. Anthony, if not Hendrickson or Parsons, I'm screaming fire, Brad. Okay. JK, Roy Lopez replaces Zadaris. Maybe, could be. Famous RW. Good to see you, man. It feels like it's been a minute. Greetings, salutations, Coach of Duke Crew. Good morning from the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Hey, what are you, on a cruise, or are you just hanging out with Wilson, the volleyball? I see JK B+ move, Brad, move by Brad. Could be. Lions vote. Hey, Coach Dan, you got to change the picture of Carlton Davis with someone else. Yeah, I'm going to have to fix that at some point. Sometime during the summer, I'll do that. Rocky, Coach, getting your energy back and being ex-military, that is one great haircut you're sporting there. Hey, yeah, the team cut me down. I told them since we got a wedding to go to in a couple weeks, they couldn't take it down too short. Jen had expressly forbidden that, so I let them cut some, but not at all. I'd see the kid was still hoping for Hendrickson. Me too, man. I would not be upset by that either if we got him. I'd see William. Let's go get some more defensive help. Micah would be great. It would be great if we can get him. Could it happen? I guess we'll find out. Detroit D, morning Duke Crew, back at you, my friend. JK, you can get 2 Hendrickson through the draft. Maybe. Hendrickson, there we go. Chris, what do you got? Add a veteran defensive end. Draft 3 defensive linemen in the draft. We're set to go. Might be what they do. JK, hoping I'm wrong. We'll find out in time. John, okay. So let's say we get Micah Parsons, but keep that same energy talk about us. We're dogs, so straight 2-year contract him. My guess is, John, it's just a guess. I don't know. You'd probably got to get him on a 3 to 4 year deal in order to retain his services. Brian, how would a bum Holmes know a year ago AG would get hired? So get them picks back. That's hilarious. That's part of planning. Nothing happens for sure, but you probably knew that you were going to have a good season. I think most of us agreed going into last season, we thought there would be a high probability the Lions would have a strong season. Probably understood the year before, he had some good interviews, just missed out. Now, it happens. The fourth round pick for the compensation, that you could probably have a pretty high good guess rate on getting that pick back. So that one, yes. As far as AG, you'd probably just roll the dice, say, I believe he's going to get hired. So it does happen in most front offices. Ouch, says JK. Rock, hopefully Dallas gets that third round pick and we get Parsons. That would be nice. I would give up both of them and one higher pick. Yeah, I'll go with that. Brian Woodard Sports had a great show yesterday talking about how this strategy will never win a Super Bowl. I agree. We have done nothing, absolutely nothing to get better. Okay, well, go with that. Let's see, 49ers. 49ers released defensive end Leonard Floyd. He missed 7 games last year, had 8 sacks. What a say he signed with the Falcons, didn't he, right after he got released? 10 games, 32 years old. Seems like a home-type signing. 8.5 sacks is the lowest total in the last 5 years. Yeah, I want to say he signed with Atlanta. Yeah, he signed with Atlanta. There we go. Thanks, Pierce. TaylorMade, haven't seen any tape, but I think the kid weighs around 320 pounds. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And I like him. I like that. Let's see, Thomas, Leonard Floyd signed with Atlanta. Yeah. That's, there we go. Darn it. Never mind. Yeah. He wasn't a free agent very long. How about that? Gordy, saw a film on Lopez last night. Woo! He is another Vita Veda next to Reader. Yes. And I think him and Adams gives you some flexibility if you want to sign somebody else in free agency and in the draft. Rocky, thinking the Bears should give up picks to us for tampering. Let's see if we can make that happen. Let's see. Pierce, Lopez will be a fine starter till McNeil can come back midseason. Could be. Thomas, Lopez is a bulldozer in the middle, a low-key good signing. Yes, I really enjoyed it. Once I looked at him, checked him out, I liked it. J.K. Lopez, $4.65 million. Z freed up $5.65 million. That's his replacement. Might be indeed. Thomas Lopez demands a double team, and so does Reader. The middle of that line with those two, and then Adams rotating in. Plus, if you can bring back Levi or just address it in the draft, that interior defensive line might be pretty dang good. All right, Don, this is hilarious. This Parson take. It happens, man. It happens. Got to have a laugh every once in a while, right? Thomas, Jerry is not letting Micah go. Probably not, but one never knows, right? Let's see, Brian. It isn't golf no more. Now it's bum homes. Just saying, let's keep running back the same injury-prone players, add a few mid or projects, and make it look like you did something. Okay. Thomas, I would trade JMO for 2 first-round picks for Micah. We'll see what they do. That'd be a bold strategy. Kurt Steele Parsons just likes Lions. He played for the Nittany Lions in college. Hey, there you go. One funky $4 million in Florida is better than $4 million in Michigan. You're not wrong with the tax exchange, etc., or lack of tax. How about that? Don Burt, now Brand Holmes is a bum? Question mark. This fan base is so fickle sometimes. Hey, people in general, my friend. People in general. JK, no on Parsons draft. Okay, Kurt Steele. Don Burt, I know, right? One funky. Don, I hate this fan base. All right. Moonscar, defense ends using Detroit to get that bigger bag, making us the butt of their jokes. I think ultimately at the end of the day, Moonscar, that's probably where it's going. Vader, we should have learned by now. Crosby and Garrett use the Lions as leverage to get record-breaking deals. Yes, I think at the end of the day, that's probably where ultimately this goes. All right, Pierce Donber will speak from my end. I am not calling for his head. Just want a targeted edge rushing signing. There you go. So if we don't do in free agency, they've got to, in my anticipation, they got to be planning on somebody in the draft. Thomas, I seriously believe JMO could have had on a trade, could have been had on a trade. I think the Lions would move him and draft a receiver this year. Maybe that's where they go, Thomas. Jesus Hernandez, Parsons trying to use the Lions to get paid just like Myles Garrett and Max Crosby did. Yeah, I think that's probably where most of us think the end of the day this video and stuff is going. Kurt Steele, Don Burr, we talked about the whining on our show today. Hey, talk about it. Have at it. JK, fake fan base like if they would do a better job than Brad. That's the thing. I think a lot of people assume it's easy to juggle the salary, and everything else. Hey, maybe somebody's a savant, makes it look easy. I would just say this. Most Lions fans, here's what I'll say to you. I'm in my soon-to-be mid-50s. I've covered this team for a gajillion years. I've seen a whole lot of people that thought they were great GMs, and they didn't do very well. So I'm enjoying this renaissance. All right, Thomas, I'll say this. I am disappointed Brad did not forcefully make a splash in free agency. Exclamation point. But I understand why, because sooner or later, we will not be able to afford our own stars. Yeah, I think he's trying to take care of his own guys first. Thomas, we have to give Brad the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, until the team doesn't perform, I'm riding with him. Now, Pierce, not you at all speak with logic. It's fans literally calling Brad bum Holmes because he didn't go spend $39 million on a overhyped player. There you go. Pierce, A-B tier edge would be fantastic. Maybe that's where we go. Josh, trade for Henderson to Detroit today by 12 p.m. You know, I like the way you're thinking. Pierce, Don Burr, appreciate that. Thomas, don't want Trey Henderson. All right, Thomas, other Thomas. 2 first-rounders for Parsons. No way. I would not do it unless we got something back in return, like, say, at minimum, a second-round pick. Okay, we'll go with that. I'll take that. Don Burr, Kurt, I will tune in. Thomas Donner, of course. JK, we got until 4 p.m. today. Kurt Steele, Don Burr, thanks. Famous RW. If their defense have we gotten better than the other teams, then we have gotten better. And we can re-sign our own players. The cap basically gives you a player's salary with each yearly increase. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty spot on about how much it typically goes up. Pierce, at this point, I'm hoping Zeke comes back, but doubt it after IG post. Okay. Dumber, it's not the draft capital with Brad Holmes. It's having to pay these guys. Correct. Kurt Steele, free agent doesn't officially start until 4 p.m. today. Hey, stay tuned, my friend. Stay tuned. Thomas, Brad isn't paying for Parsons. Probably not, and I would agree with you. Josh, trade for Micah Parsons to Detroit by 12 p.m. today. You know, there's a lot of trade, man. You're going to have a busy day, my friend, at noon. Lions Super Bowl 2024. Yes, let's make the deal. Let's see if come on down. Let's make the deal. Keith, the Lions have gotten so good in a short time. Now we're just adding a piece here and there. Get Trey Henderson / Parsons. Getting all of our injured players back is adding another player. Go Lions. Woo! I'll go with that. Ziganski, a first and 2 second round for Parsons. Man, I would take that. I would do that. Me, myself, and I. One funky. If you want Parsons, you better get D-Law. Parsons has made a living off his hip. Yeah, D-Law has helped out. Thomas, we are not signing any big name free agents. Brad, at this point, has shown his cards. He's not signing anyone he feels may blow up our cap. Could be. That's true. Detroit need yes to Parsons. Me too. William, I have faith in Brad Holmes to get the best players that fit in the scope of this team. Gritty players, one pride, go Lions. I'm back with that. I like it. Pierce, one funky. Lions fans would love D-Law. I think so too, man. I think so too. Jerry Jones will not trade his cash cow. Probably not, Thomas. Josh, yes. Rocky, Parsons is better than anything we can draft in our spot, and he probably better than any player in the draft. I would go get him for 2 of the Lions first in a heartbeat. Yeah, it's not, especially like somebody else said, if we get something back in return, draft pick wise, maybe a couple thirds or something like that, I think, man, you'd really have to consider it. Let's see, Christian. I'd much rather have Trey Henderson personally, cheaper, less draft capital in the trade, and we still, hopefully, would still have our first round pick this year, young edge to develop. Yes, I would be all over it. JK, I think the Lions have a good one today. Let's hope so. Let's find out what today unfolds with. Lakota Hogan, what do you got? That's a Lion. Parsons always preferred himself as a Lion. He doesn't want to play for the Lions. Okay, we'll go with that. Courtney, Parsons, no. Lopez and Reeder both need double teams. Yes, they will. Joe, Lions Talk Live with Roy Lopez signing. You think DJ Reeder is on the chopping block? I would think not. Just let him play out his contract. I mean, I guess what I would say, Joe, is what would be the value in releasing him at this point, other than cutting some salary? Maybe that's a compelling factor. I don't know, man. Chuck Cheese, good morning, Coach and Duke Crew. Same to you. Pierce, Joe, no cause McNeil is missing half of the season approximately. Yeah, I that's also probably a contributing factor. Thomas, Parsons is a ticket seller for Dallas, and they need to sell tickets. He's going nowhere. I'll go with that. Chuck, Reeder is better than Lopez. Keith, I might be late, but congratulations, Coach Dan, on a great season. Thank you very much for that. Hopefully the kiddos all enjoyed it. Hey, 21 seasons don't happen often, and that's 3 straight. Michael, why buy that Camaro when you already have that broken down Pinto? All right. JK, both DJ stays. There you go. Motown Mitch, makes no sense to resign Barnes unless you're trading Barnes for Parsons. Still, hex, no, don't want him to come to Detroit. No one in Detroit wants him. All right. D-Dunk, Reeder is better than Lopez. What's your point? Reeder is the starter, D-Dunk. Let's see. Yes, Keontae, Lopez is a pacifier until McNeil comes back. Then he's a great depth piece. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, real good depth piece, 100%. Pierce, D-Dunk, half the season Lopez will start. Thomas, I really did not like Barnes' contract. You bid against yourself at $8 million a year. All right. D-Dunk, not in place of Reeder, though. All right, I'll go with that. JK, front four on defense already beefed up, in your opinion? Hey, I think so too. Greg King, Manistee Duke crew, likes your hairdo. Micah, 5.35, 40 yard. Yeah, he's fast. He can flash, no doubt about it. I would love to have him and then have James Houston backing him up. Pierce, D-Dunk, no in McNeil's place. He as he recovers from the ACL. Well, there you go. The Trim Reaver, what up, Coach and Duke crew? Woo! Back at you. Can you put that stock link in the comments? Maybe somebody can look it up while I'm on air, but it is winners and losers, stocks in the housing market. And typically there's like a picture of, it's like a cartoon picture of two people and some cash or something like that. All right, D-Dunk, for sure, I just don't understand why he got compared to Reader. He is basically his backup. He probably is for a bit. Thomas, we could have allocated $8 million a year that we spent on Barnes and $4 million a year to Lopez, get Bosa for $12 million. The only thing I can say, Thomas, is maybe they didn't like Bosa. Maybe that's part of it. Detroit Lions bad guy. Today is the official date. I feel Brad's just going to wait to see what falls in free agency and pick up the pieces. I think that would seem more like a Brad Holmes thing where he's going to let the opening wave of overpriced guys get picked up, and then whatever remains, now he can kind of negotiate down with them. D-Dunk, I do think Reader will be much improved this year. I think it took him a while to get right after the injury. Yeah, he had those injuries for 2 straight years. Could be potentially a little bit better. JP, what do you got? Micah Parsons is on the last year of his contract, $24 million a year. This is also true. Ryan, please remember Parsons did absolutely nothing against the Lions last 2 seasons. Hey, give the Lions some credit for that. D-Dunk, I think Parsons is better in a strong side rush linebacker. Could be. Thomas, let's be honest. No way the Lions pick up Jamo's 5th year, $17 million option. It's time to try to move him for draft capital. We will see. JK, if he was a bust, in your opinion, he just couldn't stay healthy, man. D-Dunk, I think they picked up Jamo's 5th year, but I don't think they'll resign him for $25 million plus. Okay. Thomas, Yamo is going nowhere. Yeah, I think they're going to keep him. Been wrong before. Thomas, if he will play a max 6 games, that would be good for him if he could play him. JK, there you go. Same old soup. Micah is doing the overplay for the underlay. All right. I concur. Thomas, you are probably right. Brad loves to draft his draft picks, and for the most part, rightly so. Yeah, I would go with that. D-Dunk, $60 million on 2 wide receivers is tough. It is, but somebody's going to pay him. Somebody's going to get him. J-Mo might face the franchise tag. Yeah, you could keep him, give him a 5th year option, and then franchise him for 2 straight years. So that'd be 3 more years. Thomas, why is wide receiver still 3 still an issue? We keep drafting late round wide receivers, and they can't crack the starting position. Whose fault is that? I mean, I guess you could just say if you're a wide receiver and you're not a top of the line wide receiver, I'd be a little worried in the NFL right now because look at how many good receivers are hitting free agency. I think there's such a gluttony of them in the NFL right now. Not winning a Super Bowl with a roster full of practice squad players. Okay. The Lions won't franchise anyone. All right. D-Dunk, a roster full of practice squad players. Thomas, hey, TR, you seem the way, rightly so. In the long run, probably the best 2 for the team, but it does lack in talent acquisition. Okay. JK, Brad Holmes doesn't believe in franchise tags or big splashes. I would say that's correct. 101 Dead Puppies. No, Micah, this is stank attitude. Still remember what he said about us a couple years ago. Yeah, I want to feel like the last 2 years. D-Dunk, they have the most all-pros in the league. We do. No offense, Coach Dan. This topic is moot point. No way Jerry trades him. Yeah, 100%. I don't think so, and I think I've repeated that quite a few times through the show. Thomas Starr, very true. Thomas, the only defense events we're going to pick up from this point with this year would be in the draft if we do. And we also could use one of those 2 studly defensive linemen from Michigan. Could be. Christian, maybe they're being stingy because they want to keep their core guys coming up for contract extensions. I think that's probably a big part of it there, Christian. D-Dunk, hopefully Lions have a whole draft of linemen. Maybe. Thomas, Kenneth Grant, Mike Green would be a nice start. Too bad Sherman Stewart, who has way too many off-the-field issues. All right, we'll take him off the list. All right, guys, we got about 5 minutes here, so I'm going to kind of power through and find people who haven't been on as much. Manifest My Destiny. Hey, Dan, may have to update your intro. Yeah, we've probably got a few of them that have changed every offseason, right? Chris, you don't win games in Micah offseason. Just started. Add to the D line and draft. Just stay healthy. And just staying healthy would help out a lot. You may have to, yeah, I'm on it, man. I'm on it. JK, we have to pay our starters if you're relying on the draft heavy. Correct with that, Thomas. I thought the Lions cap guru Mike Dissner was a genius. I'm not even sure if he's here anymore. I think he might have departed. 1991. Thank God Brad doesn't listen in the fan base. Yes, correct. J.K. Thomas, from your connection to the dots, connecting the dots, trying to figure out dots. Figured. T. Bone Lugs, Parsons definitely a contract negotiations play. That's where I probably think you're spot on with that. Thomas, don't be surprised if Brad drafts guard in the first round. Could be, man. Might need one. Harrisville, because Brad Holmes is smarter than you, Brian. All right, we'll go with that. One God. Same old Lions fans always complaining. Let's go Lions. I like the rally behind the Lions. Thomas, unfortunately, Broderick was a mistake. Let's hope not, man. Let's hope he's just another one of the guys that took 2 years. Third year, breaks on out. T. Loke, as a Lions fan, I hope this is not true. Parsons, not a fit in Detroit. We'll find out, man. I really have no idea if they're going to go for him. I think it's just him trying to get more money on his contract. Phil, good morning. Back at you. Chris, why would you trade J-Mo? Talent like that doesn't come around very often. I concur. One God, because you buy a season ticket doesn't make you a GM. There's probably a whole lot of truth to that. 1991, Crosby, Garrett, and Parsons didn't need Lions for leverage. Yeah, might be true. Detroit, D, free agent class was weak this year. Yeah, everybody's going to have different opinions on it. It does seem like to be the prevailing thought. This is one of the weakest free agent classes in recent years, maybe even over a decade. Chuck E. Cheese, you guys sound nuts. Get rid of J-Mo. That's crazy. Here's Johnny. Move Broderick Martin to O-line and Crosby scores sale to start the D-line. Hey, sometimes you got to think outside the box, right? T-Bones, Brad just smirks at Lions fans' opinions, knowing that they don't even know half of the story. Yeah, that's very true. Very true. Keith, Silver Server, I agree. They want a team, not a bunch of mercenaries. That's why I think Henderson is the best choice. He will improve our team. Super Bowl bound. Go Lions. Woo! I'm down with that. Chuck E. Cheese, how about Thomas Reeder is on the last year contract? Yeah, I think they're just going to let him play it out. Jess Parsons played for the Nittany Lions and has a large lion tattoo. He loves lions. He is likely just trolling. Yeah, could be just that, man. 100% there. Blackline, I'd like to have Parsons. Just don't think it happened. Me either, man. And, I think we all agree on that. Black J.R. Jones, hit that like button, people. One Pride. Yes, hit the like and subscribe if you would, please. And thank you for that. Kurt Steele, just little. I said the same thing. Yeah, I think most of us would agree. Thomas, I think the Lions know they are taking a step back this year with a rookie defensive coordinator and some players that have contracts expiring and load up over 26. Plus, their schedule is brutal. Yes, it is. Hardy, DJ Reader, not going anywhere. All right. Chris Barnes is only guaranteed $16 million over 3 years, and Bosa is injury prone. Brian, tell me next year we get 9 to 8 because don't do enough. Everyone else got way better. You slappy fans getting hurt because I call out a GM for being a bum. All right, Thomas. This season might be similar to the Eagles' 2023 season with new coordinators, and that fell up to 26 with our Super Bowl push. Maybe, who knows, man? Thomas, Brian, agree. Pierce, Thomas, that meant both coordinators got fired after the season. Let's see how that works out. One Pride, Brad's cooking and free agency is cup of noodles. Hey, I do love me some noodles, man. Thomas laughing. JK, TR, that's what someone predicted in 27 Lions Bills Super Bowl. So, hey, you predict enough things, eventually you'll be right. Ed, good morning, Dan and Duke Crew. I support Brad. I'm going with him until he proves me wrong, man. Let's see, Pierce, Thomas, seriously, the Eagles fired both coordinators after 23. Correct? Thomas, I know. Brian, One Pride, I agree. Hey, you got to support the team, right? One Pride, laughing out loud. Thomas, they hired Flangio and Kellen Moore. They did. Brian, Brad, boot liquors. All right. Thomas, I like Kelvin Shepard. I don't see him matching up with elite play callers. No, we'll find out, man. He's an unknown commodity at this point. Pierce, Thomas Rotini, it's Morton, and I am more worried about. All right, could be. Sheila has to approve Brad's spending. That's probably true, Cedric. Thomas, and I think DC has to stop his not everyone can play for the Lions at routine. Yeah, maybe. Phil, as long as the noodles come with hot sauce. Yes, I would love me some hot sauce noodles. JK agreed. OC concerns me. We'll find out. Levi Stadium or bust, says Jason. Thomas, John Morton coached the crap offense in 17. Zero talent, helped Brent Johnson build the offense in 2023. He did just that, and now he's back. All right, guys, gonna go ahead and get out of here. If there is breaking news today, and I think we're all anticipating or hoping there will be, I'll get it over to you as quick as possible. Otherwise, before you check it out, if you'd be so kind, hit the thumbs up button, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit all them buttons. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be a good human being. Do something kind for someone you don't know. And we'll see you all on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, all.
Excuse me, sir, would you... Donations to Reverend Moon? Jews for Jesus? Read about Jehovah's Witness? How about Buddhism? Of Jerry's kids? Oh, yeah. Scientology? Or nuclear power?